Temba and Zotwa were having an argument about who should brew coffee each morning. And Zotwa said, you should do it because you get up first and then we don't have to wait as long to get our coffee. Temba said, no, you're in charge of the cooking around here. You should do it because that is your job and I can just wait for the coffee. Zotwa said, no, you should do it because it's also in the Bible that you should make the coffee. The man should make the coffee. Nonsense, said Temba. Show me which Bible says that. And Zotwa casually took out the Bible, opened the New Testament, opened a particular book and showed him at the top. It says, Hebrews. It is such a privilege to be me. You know, guys, it is a privilege. I'm surrounded by amazing friends with amazing insights. And because I'm generous, I share my friends with you. So tonight, on Wisdom Wednesday, I bring you Thami Banda, our resident customer service coach. And as usual, he will bring us nuggets that will make us and our hustles better. Welcome to Talk with Rams Live, and thank you for joining us. Good evening, one and all. And thank you for choosing us. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. On all platforms, we are Talk with Rams. Please follow, like, and subscribe to those pages. And participate on the program. Comment on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Or you can send us a WhatsApp voice note on 067 271 8239. Good evening, Mambo.
Hey, habari from the coastal city in South Africa that is called the Playground. It happened.
It happened.
It happened. In my makeshift studio as well.
Your makeshift studio looks amazing. You must keep it that way. We love it there.
Oh, my daughter.
It is alcohol free.
Yeah, of course, it's alcohol free. You know, I don't have the Macallan to take a sip on this time. And this is so disappointing. But hey, I'm loving Durban and the people are loving us here. Yeah, it's good to be here.
So, Mambo, tonight we're talking side effects of poor customer service. Now,
Yes,
let me tell a story first.
hallelujah.
And a story I shared with you, but I'm going to share it with our followers and viewers. About 2 weeks ago, I went to a golf course to play golf, you know, something I do often. Well, firstly, I had booked the previous day electronically. And in the morning, they called me to say, sir, we've had a new booking from a big group. Sorry about that, but do you mind if we move you to earlier than your booked time or to a later time? I said, look, I'm playing with a buddy of mine. He's in Pretoria. I'd like to check with him, but for all intents and purposes, we should be good for an earlier time. And the fellow I was speaking to said, okay, I'll give you a few minutes, then I'll call you again. Cool. I called my friend, told him the situation. He said, good, man, we can do 30 minutes early. It's not a big deal. But the call from the course never came to me. But that was fine. We were going to be early anyway. So we were scheduled to play at 8:30. They asked us to play at 8 o'clock. We were there at 7:45.
Yeah.
As I walk into the course at 7:45, somebody says to me, what time are you playing? I said, well, 8 o'clock. He says, well, you are late already. And in that tone, you are late already. What?
Oh, no.
It's 7:45. I'm going to play at 8, which means I'm on time. And I was scheduled for 8:30. So I have made 8 o'clock for you guys. But anyway, I went to the reception area. It's called the pro shop in golf language. And I then spoke to the guy who had called me. I said, oh, this is me. You promised to call back, but anyway, I'm here. And he says, hey, I'm not sure if you'll be able to play because the big group has started already. I said, no, but you told me I can do 8 o'clock and you never even called me and I'm still here at 8. And he mumbled some nonsense. Then he gave me my booking slips and he said to me, go and see if you can make it in there. So I'm going to end it there. I'm going to end it there and say to you, I do accept that there was a mistake made, but I'm not sure they dealt with it well. That's my intro to our topic tonight. Now, the ball is in your court, coach.
You know, Mambo, let me be honest with you. There are a couple of things that we define as small speed humps or speed bumps in customer service, such as a long wait in the queue, poor attention to detail, sometimes company reps not knowing the information properly, and sometimes the typical level of what you experienced and professional level of communication or poor communication. You know, I want to quote one of the most astute business person in the world today, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says, and I'm paraphrasing this, he says it takes 20 years to build a strong brand reputation, but it only takes 5 minutes to destroy it. And if you think about that, the precise example of what you are talking about is literally from an unprofessional service that ends up denting the reputation of an institution, which probably if you speak to people who have been captains in that golf club and who have participated in that golf club, surely have get great reviews about it and they rave about its professional levels and how astute it may be. But almost 2 minutes with you, that whole experience went down the drain when they built it far beyond the relationship that they have with Rams. So when we talk about side effects of customer service, we are talking about those moments where we are saying, hang on, we've taught you, we've lectured you, we've experienced what we say probably is fair customer service training, but there are speed bumps that you hit that still require a very professional approach out of you to showcase the excellence of what your institution represents, your brand stands for, and the values that you provide to your customers to create what we call effective customer service relationship. So here, there is clear damage to reputation, which has been built over time in a very great club.
And you see, for me, the damage went public because, you know, in my frustration, I went to my other platform. I've got a golf platform on Facebook called 15th Club. And I wrote about my experience. But, you know, in fairness, I write about all experiences. I write about good experiences too. So, you know, they can't say that I wrote because it was bad. I write about all experiences. Now, 2 weeks later, they still have not responded. No. In fairness, they did. An automated response, in my view. There was an automated response about telling me about the club and what it does and whatever. And if I have a problem, I must escalate it to so and so. But I'm thinking, I've already stated the problem. Why should I be the one escalating it? It's already here. That's an escalation.
Mambo, we spoke about 2 weeks ago about how you own up to a department, how you look after the space in which you operate. We were saying at the time that the gentleman who works in an aisle at Macro is the CEO of that place. We called them even up to the CEO level. We said they are the chief experience or experimental officers because they are the guys who should create that experience. Even the CEO at the top is still a chief experience or almost exemplary officer. So in this case, when you say it's automated, I know that you're using your communications guru language, so to say, where you are saying that the response sounds like it has been prepared over time for a possible complaint. The weakness, one of the poor things you can do in business is to give a one-size-fits-all in a response to a consumer. If there is a prepared message to a consumer, that's the first side effect you have in customer service because you are literally not taking that complaint personal. That complaint must be independent. That complaint must be dealt with at Ram's level. It's not at Thami's level. Don't have a blanket approach to it. First and foremost, if you're addressing a consumer complaint, please address the customer or the consumer by name. That's very important. He could have said, Mr. Mabote. That on its own shows that you are being recognized in the institution. You understand what I'm saying? And the second point is to say, Mr. Mabote, now that you have raised a complaint with us, we acknowledge your complaint. This is not acknowledging the issue that they can't address. It's acknowledging your voice in the matter.
Yes.
So they must acknowledge what you say and then say to you, we are saying...
Before we go there, let me stop you. Because I want that to be phase 2.
Yes.
Let's talk about that morning first, before them responding to my piece. In your view, what could have been done better to manage this potential problem? They asked me to come early, but they still let the other group go through. What could they have done to satisfy all of us, to make sure that there is no fallout?
Look, Mambo, the first thing that they should have done is acknowledging their fault.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? They must have acknowledged their fault. You are a booking. The big group is not an issue. The issue is the customer, the experience. Yes. And you are the primary customer there. And at that particular moment, you should have been given first preference. Firstly, to play. Secondly, to address the reasons why you can't play. Those are two critical things that you should address to a customer. Firstly, the reason why they are a purchaser to you. Secondly, the reason why they can't access the product. You should always be treated as king in that concept. If you fail to address the customer as first in the issue that makes them not to access the product or the service they require, you are already on the speed bump, and the side effects on that is damaged brand. That's it. Your brand reputation goes down the drain.
You know, I said to my friend, my partner, who I was playing with, I said to him, these guys, I swear to you, within a 4-kilometer radius, they have 3 other golf courses around them.
Yes.
At that time, they got the late booking. I would have, let me tell you, in my business, I would have picked up the phone to the 3 courses and say,
yes,
I've got an emergency. Something came up, but I've got these 12 players I'm going to mess up. Because I'm sure there were other people, just not only me.
Yeah.
Can you take these 12 players for me if you've got slots? You know, and then we are good. Either I will owe you the slots or I can pay you for them. They've already paid me. I'll pay you and I'll pay you the difference, whatever it is, so that they can play. I can tell you that one of the 3 courses would have had space, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they could have said to me when they called, we really have messed you up. Okay. We have to cancel your booking, but we're going to give you a voucher for 2 rounds to make up for this one.
Yeah.
Now, I would have been frustrated. I wanted to play, but they would have said to me, there is no way you can play, and please, can we make it up to you? What more could I do? You know, it's like when somebody says sorry. I always say in my reputation management business, we must get to say sorry quickly, because once you have said sorry, there's nothing they can do to you. You have said sorry.
Yes, true. Mambo, I remember a long time ago, there was one president in this country who had a huge incident that went to court. And after he was exonerated in his court case, the first thing that he did was to run a press conference where he literally apologized to a nation. If you now accuse him, you look like an idiot. Yes. So one thing that we don't realize in customer service is that we need to constantly keep our foot forward, but addressing the need of the customer as we keep our foot forward. So what should have happened in that case? Yes, it's the compensation, Mambo, that you could have gotten, even if they didn't say, well, there's a golf club next door, because they might have wanted to keep their reputation. But it's a perfect example that you're talking about, to say, look, we give you 2 rounds of golf for free for the mishap that has taken place. But do you know why they did not do that? They actually don't value their institution. I always say, if you don't value your product, your brand or service, you'll always shortcharge it if the customer has a problem with it. But if you value it, you will go an extra mile to address it. Let me give you an example. And I love the way you and I love football. And the football analogy that I'm going to give you will probably drive the point home. There are two things that would always happen in Spain in a club called Barcelona if it's not achieving. Either they acquire players and fire the coach, or they keep the coach and fire the president. But one way or the other, they look at themselves to satisfy the fan. They never look at the fans and say, you are not getting the picture. No, they know the fans have already bought the picture. And what is the picture? It's a movement of the Catalonia people. It's Barcelona. So because it's a movement, they've appreciated that task as a movement and they own it and become advocates of it. So when that is misrepresented in their heart, soul, mind, and their social living, they then say, we will do whatever it takes internally, Mambo, to address the outward outcomes of what we are encountering. So right now, I am saying those guys, what they did not do was to internalize your problem in order to solve it outwardly. So they disregarded you. They didn't internalize it. And guess what is happening right now? We are on a call, still outwardly speaking about it, of something that they could have solved internally.
In fact, we should call them by name. It's Huddle Park Golf Club, because they need to be known for their bad service. I mean, we gotta call them by name. I mean, I wrote about it. There's no secret about it. It's out there. It's Huddle Park.
Actually, Mambo, you and I must challenge the viewers of this beautiful channel. This is beautiful digital content that is hard to find. That maybe for 2 minutes or for a minute on every show that we are having, all our listeners or viewers should send us people we should name and shame on their poor service, because it's not worth it for us to interact with people who are willing to understand the quality of customer service and still get short-charged out there. Today, I had a beautiful experience, Mambo, and this is why sometimes we should congratulate people who are doing well. I was at the Oyster Box in Durban, and these guys, I asked them, do you guys have chopped chili? Do you know what the first response was? This gentleman who was serving me didn't say that we do have chopped chili. He said, we have fresh chopped chili.
Wow.
That word fresh, word just did it for me, because you know what he's saying to me? He says, what you are asking is minor than what we have. I already expected fresh chopped chili, but I started to think as a customer service person that actually if he had brought me chopped chili with seeds that looked brown, he would have still served me chopped chili, isn't it? But if he says it's fresh, it's literally hitting the note of what I missed as the customer, and he's meeting me beyond my expectation. And these guys did not get it right. I'm not ashamed to tell you now that those guys got it all wrong, and we should start to have a segment where we name and shame, even if it's for 30 seconds.
But the same way as you've done with Oyster Box, we should also be fair and then come up with examples of amazing customer service and acknowledge those guys who do well. Let's balance it. If guys have an amazing experience, they must share it with us. Let's talk about it. Let's analyze why it was good. And, hopefully it teaches, because the people who are on this show run their own businesses. Somebody who sells, I always make an example of a guy who sells nails, as in the pigir, ikonkwan, if somebody says to you, they come to your shop and they say, I'm looking for 12-inch nails, and I need 20. And you say to them, our packets go, from 30 upwards, but I'm going to give you my 30 for the price of 20 because you're looking for your nails. Now, that guy would have acted like the Oyster Box in his normal nail business.
Yeah, look, Mambo, let us be honest on one thing. There's a concept that we get wrong in business in terms of customer service, where we don't realize that leads are not a conversion to a sale. And what you've just explained hits that on the nail, excuse the pun. But leads don't convert into a sale. Leads are a wide variety of fish in the sea, and yet you have one net that you are casting out into the same ocean, and you can get a wide variety. But unfortunately, as you catch, there is also a wide variety that remains behind. So what is important for us to embrace in a customer service experience is what sounds so cheap because we hear it so oftenly. Tailor make it. Tailor make it. If you cannot address REMS, tomorrow you will fail to address F&B. Because one day, F&B will be in the same position as REMS if United Nations comes through to the same golf club to play. Stakes are higher. It's UN with bodyguards. REMS was once smaller when F&B came. But when F&B now is pitted against UN, who do you think is greater? So obviously in this session, as we teach people, let us make people recognize that customer service is about a personal interaction. You don't compromise your brand, you don't compromise your price, you don't compromise anything that is related to your business, but don't ever treat your customer below the investment rate you think about your business development. And this club shot themselves at the foot. I know you with, I think it's the Club 15, the program that you are running, introducing people like me, who are passionate about golf. And in some of those people are high net worth individuals, the pro people who should be interacting with golf. It's a growing trend into the African community. We are going to be the biggest consumers of playing golf in the next 5 to 6 years.
No, we are already, by the way.
We are already, I think it's almost 85% if you may look at the stats, I'm sure. But if you look at that alone, Mambo, and yet one of our advocates that we look up to as guys who played socially or who aspire to play socially has had a mishap. Do you know what that does to your brand reputation? I made an analogy the other time of why you would miss your lane to purchase Maguinya.
Yes.
Because of a recipe. Get your customer service recipe right in order to develop your business. Otherwise, all things are
I interrupted you earlier. So in terms of the piece that I wrote in complaining, you were saying to me, you were about to tell me how they should have dealt with that complaint than to send me what I called an automated response. The other word is non-personalized response.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Look, the first thing that they should do is to personalize the message, as we said. Secondly, acknowledge the fault. Let me tell you, Mambo, in acknowledging the fault, it doesn't make you wrong. It makes you a bigger man, as we always say it. Or in this case, a bigger entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Acknowledge the fault. Even if you don't see it, acknowledge it. And ask the consumer or the customer to have an interaction with you with an intent to find the solution. So, hi, Mr. Mabote. We acknowledge that we are at fault with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our desire is to always meet your expectation beyond 3, which you require, to give you 5. So we invite you to come through and experience with us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 about our institution, which has been short-charged to you according to your expectation, which, by the way, we should always exceed. We are looking forward to your correspondence to our invitation. Now the ball is in your court to meet up with them in order for your expectations to be exceeded. Even when you want to blame them, they say to you, you've not given us the room or given us room to prove beyond reasonable doubt that that was a once-off mishap. So if we don't do that, we literally play in your hands, which was the case this time, where they justify their position and say, we are a golf club that is reputable, that has got so many years of experience. And tell you what, in fact, your complaint doesn't matter unless you take it to David. So in essence, nobody owns up to your issue unless David is there. Oh God, if David has got COVID, like Trump just experienced it, well, your issue doesn't matter at all.
Well, in fact, for me, I even thought maybe David is another machine. I didn't even trust that David is a human being. Because my point is, why is David not seeing this correspondence and reaching out to me? Now, I'll tell you this. I mean, I had booked through a platform called Play More Golf. And this platform has all the golf clubs subscribing to it. So you book through Play More Golf. So I mentioned that I had booked through Play More Golf. Guess what happened? Play More Golf called me the next day. They said, we just read your piece. We are so sorry. I said, but you did nothing wrong. I booked, everything went well. They said, we are sorry. And therefore, you and your mate, we're going to give you a free round of golf in a club of your choice. You tell us when. But the club that did me wrong has still not called me today.
Let me ask you, Mambo, a simple, straightforward question. Whose customer are you? Whose loyalty is with you right now? Is it the institution that called you?
Play more golf.
So let's look at it this way. Even if Play More Golf desired to send you in the club that you had a bad experience with, they will never do it. They've noted it.
Yeah.
Even if Brendan Grace were to invite you, he's most likely going to hear your experience right now. Why is Play More Golf doing that? It's because for them, they are who they are because the chief cornerstone is you. Mambo, every business is there to provide a solution. Once the business becomes a problem, it has been out of touch with the purpose of its existence. It's that simple. Every business in the world, I'm in Durban right now, away from my family to provide a solution. Once I become a problem here, I've ceased my purpose of existence and I demand to be replaced. And that's what Play More Golf is doing with you, because they literally said at the venue or at the golf club of your choice. I always argue this point with many customer service practitioners. The fact that the consumer walked into your shop does not mean you are not replaceable. There is always someone who is willing to be more courteous, more solution-minded, more price flexible than who you are. And guess what? Their longevity is more guaranteed than yours.
In fact, sometimes there's always somebody who is available. They may not even have anything better. They are just available.
They are there.
So, I mean, Freddie and I speak about this all the time. If we do not come on air at 7:30, latest 7:31, it takes you a button on your phone to find another program that is available. It may not be what you are looking for at that time. You move on to something else. And if I don't understand that my customer wants a solution to be with me at 7:30 and I saunter in at 7:43, they're gone.
In fact, Mambo, dare I say this to you, the build up to this conversation leads me to us having a discussion next week or at the time of your convenience in your busy and demanded schedules, that we should do what we define as consumer journey.
Yes.
Because people take it for granted, the journey of a consumer. I learned this trick in my early days in the broadcasting environment. They say, if your spot break is misplaced at the time when a beautiful song should be played, consumers or listeners switch off.
Yeah.
I then thought, what happens if somebody sees a shirt on a hanger somewhere and it's written 345 rands and somebody who walks past just says Woolworths at 310? Wouldn't the same go away? Just because the moment of somebody saying Woolworths 310 and you seeing the price was the absence of the consumer practitioner or customer service practitioner to engage you on the quality, because Woolworths might be 310 when my hanger says 350, but the cotton is not the same. But there was no one to explain. It's a defining moment. I love your program because it sounds like all of us who come through as coaches, as you name us, and prestigiously call us. It sounds like we sing from the same hymn book. I was listening to Dr. Tando talking about the art of negotiation. If you leave a room, just one small room, it's all over for you.
Let me read you this comment from Tanki Somakwabating Tanki on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
Wow, I like this topic. I recently had bad customer service too from Nissan Northcliffe. I bought a brand new car last year, June, and the radio stopped working few months after.
Yeah.
I have been to the dealership a few times and they keep sending me from pillar to post.
Yes.
3 weeks back, they stole maps and a and an SD card, and told me that the reason why the radio is not working is because there is no SD card. Till today, wow. I'm waiting for the call from Sean, the service manager.
Mambo, let me tell you something that Nissan is doing wrong there. Sean, the service manager, is thinking Nissan makes cars, and he doesn't understand that having a stereo in the car or a radio in the car is accentuating the customer experience. Yes. Because he wants to subcontract the customer complaint to a person who fitted the stereo. That's not who the customer bought from. He bought a Nissan. He would have bought it without a stereo and fitted it himself. And that's what we should understand. When a customer comes to me and he says, "Your Magwinya, the texture is poor," I shouldn't blame Golden Cloud flour, whatsoever. I must take the blame and fix my flour procurement. And that's it.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Don't pass the buck. Don't tell us about David. Club, I don't know, what's the name of this club, the golf club?
Huddle Park. I call it Struggle Park now. But it's Huddle Park.
Yeah, Huddle Park / Struggle Park. Take ownership. That's key to customer service. Take ownership. Don't take ownership of the sale only. Don't take ownership of a successful customer relationship. Take ownership of the complaint as well. And that's what makes us best customer service practitioners in the world.
Whew. We learn every day. It's true. Thank you, Abuti. That's Sipati Matsip. And I'm learning too, Sipati. I told you I've got clever friends there, and I'm always happy to share them with you. You know, folks, this conversation, we can mention Huddle Park and mention Nissan or Oyster Box, but the truth is it's also about you. And that's why we do this. We do this so that your hustle does not make the same mistakes that are made by big boys and big girls. Because if you can fix them now, by the time your business is much bigger, your customer service is like pieces of, you know, what do you call those things? The ebony and ivory on the piano. They just play harmoniously. But you must start early. If you don't start early, you're going to get a discord. So it's about your business too. It's about that small thing where you distribute clothes, you buy them from this place and you sell them to other people. You know, it's about your Magwinya coffee shop, it's a corner shop. It's about your cake making shop. Fix your customer service more than anything else. I can tell you, your marketing can be great. Your branding can be amazing. You know, your pricing can be the cheapest on earth. But if you treat your customers like Sean has treated Tangiso, you're going to destroy your business. And that is why I bring Coach Thami Banda here to help you right at the beginning of your business not to fall for those traps. Rather, I had a conversation with a friend of mine about, and we are about to conclude, somebody bought food from a KFC outlet, and inside the shop, the packaging broke and the food fell down. But from the picture they posted, it did not seem like the packaging was faulty. It seems like they had held it wrong. So it is actually their fault. But I said, whatever that price is not worth losing that customer and everyone in the shop watching this. I will give them another bucket of KFC and I will say, I'm sorry for what happened, but everybody watching is going to come back tomorrow because they're going to think, wow. And they're not going to come back to come and pray and make their KFC's fault next time to get it for free. No, they're coming to reward me for being a great business person.
Amen.
Mambo, always wonderful having you, my brother.
From the tone of saying Hebrews, let's go out and brew great customer service. Because from that fallen bucket, we can also discover if there could be a better way to create a handle as an insight to create better packaging for our chicken.
Folks, we hope our customer service to you for being loyal to this program is good. And please let us know if you want more, if it's not satisfactory, if we're missing something, if the quality of the show is grainy or something else. I'm told today I'm slightly coffee color more than yellow bone. Complain, tell us so that we can fix it. We know we want to be better all the time. But also, don't forget to participate in our survey. We've got our customer experience survey. We want to know you better. We want to know who you are, what you do, so that our packaging is much better for you. Do go in and do that. It's a 10-question survey. It will help us understand you and your business better. Tomorrow, we continue with this train called Talk with Rams Live. Do not miss it. It's going to be fascinating. In the ring, the rumble in the jungle. What are we? The jungle, the rumble in the jungle. That's what we are tomorrow. The rumble in the jungle. So come in the ring, come see the fight, come enjoy it, and come learn some more about something else that could be good for your business. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
From me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.